Hi, welcome back to this really exciting series, this Sun Salutation series in our Yoga for Sexual Health. And actually this is like the classic, the pose that everyone goes to, and when you start to get strong, where you rest, right? Mm-hmm. So this is like the neutral pose that doesn't heat or cool, right? Isn't that what some people have said?
Yeah, ideally. It takes a while to get there.
Right.
So downward facing dog is what we're talking about here.
Right. So tell them why we do downward dog and what the benefits are.
Well, there's a lot of benefits to downward dog. We're going to be stretching out the spine. We're bringing the heart below the hips. We're giving gravity is kind of on our side here, releasing the vertebra of the spine. We're also going to be stretching the hamstrings, stretching the back of the legs. We're focusing on the alignment of the arms. We're building strength to the wrists, forearms, shoulder girdle. The benefits could be a book, and they are many books. So,
and just in terms of our sexual health series, this pose, I think, actually is a great, like I was saying before, barometer of, can you hold yourself and sort of be in touch and feel your own body? Absolutely. I mean, you really have to feel your body when you're in this pose.
You do, and it's a beautiful union of the moment when you're strengthening and you're stretching.
In this pose.
Mm-hmm. And as a tool to take with you into your lovemaking, how can you be strong but also be open?
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
So Caitlin's going to show you two variations. So some people aren't going to maybe feel strong enough in their arms or shoulders to do the first one, and there's some easier ways to do it.
Yes.
So she's going to show you both. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll show both, and then I'll try and see how I look.
Yes. So we're going to start out from our extension, right? So we lower ourselves down here. We relax the toes, we lift ourselves up. And then from here, we're going to tuck the toes, press into the arms, and lift the knees. Okay, so this is where we're transitioning through, and I'm doing this ultra slow. So first I'll demonstrate puppy. Puppy is a great place to go if you're building strength and you just want to receive that length through the spine and more of a stretch.
So it's almost like a tabletop,
mm-hmm.
and then you come down.
Right, so my hips are on top of my knees, and I have a diagonal line from tailbone to crown, right? Is that what we're seeing here? Mm-hmm. Good, and the hands are pressing and reaching forward, so I get a nice stretch through the sides of my shoulders and upper back. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then for downward dog, I'm just going to lift myself up, and it's a little bit of a longer tabletop here. And I'm going to tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. So we've got hands a little wider than shoulder width. We've got...
What about feet? Are they like just...
I like a functional parallel, right? Sitting bone width apart.
Okay.
Sitting bones are the highest point of our pose. So a lot of us are going to have bent knees here. That is fine. That is great. We want the sitting bones to be high, the ribs to be active. So we're engaging the core muscles a lot here. Okay.
So you mean you're doing this lift before you get into this pose?
Exactly.
So the order of operations is to start here.
Mm-hmm. The shoulder blades, same idea of the sweet spot. We're taking that with us. So we're not crunched up to our ears. We're not jamming forcefully down the back. We're somewhere in the middle. The shoulder blades are elevated here. Okay, but we've got a soft bend to the elbows, so we're not locking or hyperextending. We're firmly rooted through the knuckle base of each finger. And we keep some lift through the heels, and then we reach them down. But they don't have to come to the ground, just like our knees don't have to be straight. So there's no pushing, forcing. We just want to let this pose fit our body. And this is a complicated pose. This could take a full private lesson to find the downward dog that fits for your body. And it'll change over time.
Well, they're going to see how different, they're going to see how different mine looks from yours, right?
For you.
So I'm going to start here in this cobra pose.
There you go.
Okay.
So inhale, fill the belly, relaxing the tops of the feet. I think that's one of the cues too. That really helps the toes with the glutes.
And I actually keep my feet here for some reason. Okay, so relaxing the feet and then belly.
Softening the glutes too. So inhale, breathe into the belly. Exhale, navel to spine, pressing the pubic bone down, lats, and then lift. Beautiful. Tucking the toes as you lower yourself we'll press, yeah, up and back to puppy. Let's start with puppy. Hips on top of heels. So different from child's pose.
Okay, so actually that's the thing. I oftentimes go too far back, so it's just here,
just
right?
Just here, yeah, right there is perfect. And then you lower the forehead to the floor and stretch the arms forward. Good, and if the forehead feels the floor feels too far, you can always use a block. Let's take the shoulders or hands a little wider. Yeah. Is that okay for you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we've got this nice length through the spine.
You know, I don't think I've ever done this right before.
How does it feel?
It feels really good, actually. And I think a really important cue is this hips over the knees.
Mm-hmm.
Because I, a lot of times, come from back here.
Yeah.
And then I'm straining my hip flexors to do that.
Yeah, it's different.
So, okay, so I'm in this puppy with my hips over my knees.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And you actually have so much room to stretch out from here.
So let's find your pelvic floor. So we exhale to lift the pelvic floor in and up. And we don't need to round the back. We don't need to change anything. It's kind of that invisible lift in and up. Beautiful. Good.
God, and that changes it so much too.
So let's take it into down dog. Hands under the shoulders, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back. And we can find our, see, she's been practicing a lot. Wendy, your downward dog is looking beautiful.
But so again here I want to find my pelvic floor.
Absolutely. We want to find the pelvic floor. There's a lot we want to find. So let's start with the hands. Fingers spread wide, wrists parallel to the front edge of the mat. This is looking great.
Okay.
Soft mini bend in the elbow. We don't want the energy to get stuck in the elbows. This is going to build healthy joints through the wrists, elbows, and shoulders.
Yeah, and I think I do hyperextend there too.
Well, let's check in with the shoulders, right? We find that little shrug, and then that down the back, and then we find a sweet spot right in the middle.
Like here?
Yeah. I'm going to just pull this down so I can see what's going on your neck. That looks nice. Really nice. And then navel to spine. Let's take a bend in one knee as you press the opposite heel to the floor so you can get a deeper stretch through the back of the leg, and then we'll switch to the other side. So sitting bones are the highest point of the pose, and then let's come to extending both legs to their degree. Lift the heels all the way up, and then go ahead and press them down while you try to keep the arches active of your feet. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, that looks so nice. So come on down to the knees.
Okay.
Okay. So
that
she's
was really
building strength and flexibility.
Yeah, and you know, there's something very meditative about that space. You know, especially I think we should almost actually build it in that you start with puppy because you know, doing it right for the first time. So you guys are getting to watch me actually relearn how to do yoga again, which is actually such a beautiful thing that you're like learning it anew all the time. But that actually gives you so much space so that because you know, I always want somebody to pull back on my hips when I'm in downward dog, but having done the puppy first, I feel like, oh, now I know kind of what I'm looking for
It's
in the downward
through the spine. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does actually take strength, you know, in the hands and in the arms.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so there we have the three segments that make up a really solid sun salutation. And so in our next sequence, we're going to put it together, right?
Yeah, we're streaming it all together.
So join us. Don't miss it. We're going to do the full sun salutation next.